Zoom. All right. Hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevers, stand up comedian in New York City. Hello.
How's it going?
All is well here. I am back in the safety of my basement. I am no longer traveling. No, I was upstairs last time, and then before that, I was in Cuyahoga Falls. Yes, I'm in
Nice.
my safe place. I'm in my hovel in my basement.
That's cool. I am in my bed quarters, which also
Bed
is kind of in a
quarters.
basement. Bit of a
All
split
right.
foyer basement, but still.
All right, let's jump right in.
Also,
How?
before just for the people watching on YouTube and stuff, I have a bit of a sty. That's why my right eye. I didn't just come out of drag or something like that. It's
Oh,
it's
you
it's not
do. Holy
eyeliner.
poop! I
Yeah,
didn't even notice that.
yeah. Got a
Yes.
nice little sty going.
You get pink eye from one of your kids? Did you poop and not wipe and not wash? Did you touch your eye after pooping and not?
No, that's pink eye. This is a sty. This is
Did
just
you
from the
take a shot? Take a shot?
in, no. I wish it was that cool. It just
I don't know.
it
I give it a
happened for
sigh.
no goddamn reason. It's basically just the glands on your eyelashes get kind of gunked up, but yeah,
Huh.
they just
So bad eyelash hygiene.
yeah,
All
pretty
right.
much.
Well, see, I was looking at you on YouTube, but on Zoom I can see how big your eye is. So yeah, that's poofy.
Oh yeah. You can't see it on YouTube too bad. On Zoom, it's pretty rough.
On Zoom it's pretty rough. All right, we're gonna jump into all the stories. This first one caught my eye, and because I clicked it, now it's in my feed. Like I got this on Facebook, and I clicked it, and now I'm getting it every day, multiple times a day. Rock and roll experience. Gene Simmons fans can buy the ultimate experience VIP for his upcoming 2025 tour. Jake, you probably read it, but just knowing that you can buy the ultimate VIP experience, what would you guess that is?
Oh, I mean, well, honestly, knowing what I do about the band Kiss, the price tag seems about what I would guess. Yeah.
No, no, not the price tag, but what do you think you get for the VIP experience? Because you just
Oh
read that first
shit.
line, it's a VIP experience. Then you get into the meat and bones of it. You know,
I mean, I'm thinking like you eat dinner with them, you go
yeah,
backstage, you something. Now it's the thing's so expensive that it's like, all right, it's going to be a little bit more. It's got to be more than just backstage passes, which it seems like they're adding to some stuff. But
right. Let me
man,
read it. I'm going to skip one line. I'm going to skip one line and then I'll go back. The Ultimate Gene Simmons experience includes you will meet with Gene and the band members early in the day, either at his hotel or a designated location. You will be on the band. Oh, I'm going to skip that one. You will get a crew member shirt and hat. You will get a laminate. Oh, that's worth it. You will have a meal with Gene Simmons at the hotel or backstage. Skip that one. You skip that one. You will hang out backstage. You will sit on the sound check.
please tell
Gene
me the
Simmons.
price of the food is included in this. If you're
I
if
would
you're
hope so.
expected to fucking pay and then tip a hostess 20% or whatever, that's crazy.
You will sit on stage. You will sit in on sound check. Gene Simmons will bring you on stage during the show and introduce you. You will get a set list signed by Gene Simmons. You will take home a Gene Simmons bass guitar. You can take photos. You may bring a guest. $12,495. Now here's the parts I were skipping. You will be his personal assistant and band roadie for the day. You will load in the equipment. You will do work. So you are paying to fucking build the stage up and tear it down.
And see, that's a weird thing because you got what you have working side by side is guys who are getting paid under the table and probably less than minimum wage, working right alongside guys that paid 12 grand to be loading this stuff onto the truck.
I mean, I don't know why they threw that in. If you take out the parts I skipped over, it's just like, oh, you have, like you said, you have dinner with Gene. You get a bass guitar. You get all this. That is the VIP experience. But you will be his personal assistant. Like you're his bitch. Like if he need, hey, I need to run to my car and get my cell phone or what? Who knows? I need a drink of water, whatever it is. And band roadie. band roadie. You get a laminate because you will be part of the load in, arrive and load into the venue with the band.
You think this is rough? You should read what the P Diddy ultimate personal experience was. It was pretty wild, man. I don't want to go into it. This is a family program, but way nuttier than
Oh.
old Gene Simmons is here.
You may bring 4 items for Gene to sign, no instruments or parts, etc. I don't know what parts or etc. means. Like the neck of a bass, or just the pickups for a guitar. Like, hey, just
Not
sign
for
this pickup.
nothing. For 12 grand, he should sign my fucking dick if I want it signed. Like, are you kidding me here? They're putting they've got weird stipulations on what he will and will not sign for $12,000.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna find an end around right here. It says no instruments, but you get a bass sign. You get a bass signed by Gene Simmons, so you wouldn't need to. I was just gonna say, can you take the bass that he gives you and have it signed? But it's already signed. So
I
you get
mean,
a bass.
maybe the thought is people resell that stuff for lots of money and Gene wants a cut, but like, you got 12 grand. So, like, what are we even talking about here?
I do, but only one Ultimate Experience sold per show date. So it's not like you get to follow them around. It's not like, wouldn't it be funny though? I like how they make that exclusive. Only one per show date. You could sell 5, you could sell 20 of them, then you'd have all your roadies. You wouldn't.
Just all people that paid 12 grand to be loading
Right.
on trucks. Every roadie paid 12 grand to be there.
Conker says, "Sup, my guys." Hello, Conker. Rich Whitfield. Will the guy
Hey,
get to share the drugs? Gene is straight edge. No drugs at Gene shows. That's one thing. Nikki Sixx talked about it in the Heroin Diaries, where he was talking to Gene, and he said, "What do you do?" He goes, "Well, I have sex with women." He's like, "Okay, what do you do after you have sex?" He's like, "I have sex again." Like that, Gene is like Wilt Chamberlain. He no drugs at his shows. That's why
really?
he got in so many
Was that
fights with.
even back in the 70s and shit? He
Yeah,
wasn't doing
yeah, yeah.
drugs, right? Oh wow.
That's how Paul and Gene were both straight edge, and Peter and Ace were both drunks and
Oh,
into
that's
drugs.
right.
That's why
Yeah,
they, yeah.
that's
Brian
why it went
Wicks,
down.
salutations from Southwest Oklahoma, gents. Love the banter. Hey, Brian, thank you for the comment,
Hey,
and hello, Oklahoma.
thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because you'd think that Peter and Ace, after so many years, I mean, maybe they're still drinking, getting high all the time now. I doubt it because they got to be like in their 70s now or something, right? I mean,
Yeah,
who's
well,
not that many people are really drinking and getting high that much in their 70s. Otherwise, they're what doctors refer to as dead already. I mean, they're out there, sure, but for the most part.
well, this is funny to me. I did see a post on social media somewhere. I don't remember, but it was Ace saying, like, "Oh, I'm 5 years sober at this point." And then a friend of mine, someone I know that I went to high school, posted right under it and said, "Motherfucker, I saw you open for Alice Cooper last week, and you were so drunk you couldn't play or sing."
How long ago was this? How long ago
It's
was this?
like 2, 3 years ago. This is pretty
Oh
recent.
wow. Okay, so they're still going hard, man. Yeah, I guess
Yep.
it's sort of like that Keith Richards thing where if you've
Brian
got
Wicks
the
just said
money,
we
you can
forgot about
kind of
Keith
get the
Richards.
IVs and yeah, no, I mean he's sort of the example that makes the rule or whatever that people always use. But I mean, I think there's something too if you really take care of yourself with all the other stuff and you're getting like vitamin IV drips and stuff after you're getting high and drunk. Yeah, I guess you can kind of counteract that with. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to age like Sting or nothing, but you'll be alive in your 70s. So
I read
maybe he's doing
Anthony
that.
I read Anthony Kiedis's book. He talked about getting, like oxygen injections and vitamin
Right.
D injections and all just sort of, yeah.
They do nutty stuff. And plus, he said he fucked a lot of 15-year-olds, not because he's into that sort of thing, but it made his blood and his skin sort of younger. You know what I mean? It sort of aged him in reverse.
Yeah.
He found it sexually repulsive the whole time he was doing it. He was just doing it for the anti-aging
I
property.
I can't believe how young and nubile you
Yeah.
are.
He was closing his eyes, picturing a 45-year-old the whole time. He was just doing it so he didn't age like Axl Rose.
This is I taught I was a substitute teacher for 5 years here in Iowa, and the only training was don't touch the students. Please don't touch the students. I know you're going to want to touch the students, but don't touch them. And then you get there. I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you and every viewer. These high school girls look like high school girls, and it's gross. You see them and you're like, yeah, they're kids. Who would ever? You have to be diseased in the mind to be attracted to that or that age. Because if you were an adult and you were in a high school, they all look like little kids. The idea that like what do you think of us? Because it was just the thought was gross. The idea that anyone would be attracted to these kids, like
Here's the thing. I sat through the training class right after yours. They barely brought it up, man. I think it was just you. I think they just took a look at you and they were like, dude, what in the ever loving Kevin Spacey is this guy doing teaching? Oh my God, we got to get through to. I don't know how he got through. I don't know how he got red team. This is blue team. How the hell did we let one through?
there was one aside where they're like, okay, don't touch the kids, please, please don't. Oh, and by the way, if there's a field trip, don't steal the money, but don't touch the kids. It's like they're really hammering all the teaching points.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think the guys who diddle the kids and rob the school, I think they know they're not supposed to do it. I don't think anyone's getting dragged out in handcuffs going, I thought this was America. What is this, communist Russia? We can't steal from schools or diddle kids here anymore. This is bullshit. I never would have gotten a job as a substitute teacher. This is bullshit. You should have put this in the job interview. You should have put this in the training. You should have said it more than once. Next time, say it more than one time. I will sue you people.
Next time, give us a test at the end of training to show that we've
Yeah.
received proper training.
True or false? I can totally touch the kid. Anybody answers true. I don't care. I don't care how they did on the rest of the test. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many of these guys get bounced by that question. But they're sort of like the guys who actually sat down when Chris Hansen told them to take a seat, as opposed to just turning around and bolting. It's like, dude,
You guys have ran.
yeah. You got to just run right. Even if you don't know who Chris Hansen is, it's like you're there to do diddling, and there's a full grown man. This ain't gonna go well. He's not gonna high five you and be like, "Hey, I just wanted to. I was last time. She's burning through dudes." So I just high five, buddy. This ain't a NAMBLA convention. You got to get the hell out of there, bud.
I always did like the guys that ran because just watching the cops tackle them, but even the ones that just laid down, they would fucking jump on them, like yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not on team pedophile. I don't want to give that. That's it. But it's like, dude, you know you're not going to be able to talk your way out of it. It's like,
No.
what do you? I mean, you know what you're here for. There's a grown man here. It's time to get out. Like, yeah, you're never going to be able to talk your way out of it.
All right, let's turn to the chat really quick. Brian says Keith famously got a reporter higher than a kite merely by being in close proximity to her. Yeah, that sounds about right.
There we go.
Valerie,
There we go.
hey Valerie, welcome aboard. Make the teachers wear body cams in class. Problem solved. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I think that should be the law of the land for literally anyone with a dick that works around kids. Okay, that should just be the law. If they're doing it for cops, they should do it for priests. They should do it for high school teachers, the substitute teach, all of that shit. Any dude who wants to work around kids, I cannot think of anything I would like less than to work around children. It's not in most dudes. Some dudes do genuinely have that wiring to where they just love all kids, but like for the most part, no. I barely want to be around my own kids, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, you meet the principal of my kid's school, and you're like, oh, this guy is just a genuinely good soul. Like,
Yeah, great,
like,
and he's such a nice guy. He won't mind putting a body cam right on that sweater vest he wears. If he's such a good guy, he won't mind. You know what I mean? He's out there trying to catch the rest of them.
Valerie says, I am a teacher, and yeah, it's gross. Kids smell. Yeah. We have to, my daughter's 12, so she's not even a teenager. We have to yell at her to shower, and my son is 10. He'll go an entire week without showering. Either way, they smell, but they really are just big kids. I'm old too, 40, and I go for 30 plus. Yeah. And that's the thing is the older I get, the more I understand American Pie, where it gets into MILF range, where you pull up a 20-year-old and you're like, that's kind of gross too. Like that's they just start to look too young. So even if they're young in their 20s, like yeah, the idea you go to a because I remember when Britney Spears hit, and everybody's like, "Ooh, she's a vixen." They didn't look like that in my high school. Nobody looked like that in their high school. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Hey, Solar Lass, is it me? Jake's volume is loud, and I can hear Nathan. I can barely hear
Yeah.
Nathan. Oh,
I don't know. I can hear you pretty good, but I'm wearing headphones, so I kind of got the one ear, and then
anybody else in the
I
chat, let
obviously
me know
can't
if
hear
I'm too
myself.
quiet because I'm speaking into the microphone for the recording, but the live is because we're trying to. If anybody's a regular, we're trying to work on Jake's echo problem.
Hey man,
I think it sounds internal, but we're trying to get rid of all external noise by muting everything and just getting everything out of the
try
ether. So
talking
we're
into the
finally wearing
front of your
headphones.
Blue Yeti, like right here. Talk into the logo as opposed to on the top. I read that like they're directional to where like they take in noise from the
Oh,
sides as
I'm doing
opposed
it
to
the
the
other.
top.
Well,
Yeah.
that
It's not like a Shure 58, man. It's not like the stand up mics. No,
yeah.
like tip it back and then talk into the front of it
I can't. The
like that.
wire. I've got it the wrong way because the wire will bend if I move it.
Oh, gotcha.
Nathan is a little quieter, but not a huge difference. All right, as long as it's not a
Okay.
huge difference, as long as it's somewhat
All
small.
right.
But
And I'm either I think I'm the Bluetooth is what is my mic is actually going to for the phone. So
all
I don't
right.
think there's anything I can do about that.
Well, let's stick with music because this one amused me. Stephen Piercy to Billy Joel Armstrong. No politics in music, please. Former Rat vocalist Stephen Piercy expressed his views on mixing politics with music through a recent post on Twitter. Why no politics? Why no politics in music, please? Never makes any sense. Piercy stated in response to Green Day's recent performance. Billy Joe Armstrong modified Jesus of Suburbia to say something about JD Vance. Hey, here's the thing. Green Day's a pop punk band. The album they were touring behind, Jesus of Suburbia, is a part of American. It's an entire political album. Punk band. Rat was about, hey, chicks are hot. We should fuck them. Punk music is about fighting the system and fighting the power. And I would say that considering Green Day just is currently on a stadium tour and Rat is playing the local county fair, one of the two is doing something right. And if you don't want to sing about politics yourself, that's fine. But you had one hit in 1984 called "Round and Round," and that
Yes,
was it.
I'm shocked that the lead singer of the classic socialist folk protest song "Round and Round" is now flipping and saying we shouldn't be talking politics. That one was one that I mean, unions would sing that. There would be the Solidarity Forever song, and then they would all light candles and sing "Round and Round" by Rat while they were
We
protesting
shall
low wages.
overcome round and round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They would sometimes, they would mix them. They would mix the song, and they would do little remixes, little protest remixes.
I love how this article just about it, you have to wonder if this is paid. Like does anyone care what Stephen Piercy says about Green Day? But then they try and get into political involvement in music gained prominence in the 1960s. Artists of that era regularly used their platforms for social and political commentary. This historical, okay, fuck off. Now you're just trying to, you're really trying to write an article out of
Yeah,
nothing.
and then and
Except it
then
says right here, Green Day has established a clear history of political commentary in their music. So it's not like this came out of nowhere.
I love that. Why are they talking about the '60s? Why are they talking about the '60s? We're not talking about the '60s. We're talking about Green Day, and we're talking about Rat. It's you can't just rewind 20 fucking years. It's like, hey, why don't you talk about the band you're actually talking about? Fast forward to 20 years after the '60s, when most of the rock bands were in drag, singing about the devil and getting laid. Like that was the '80s. That was most of rock in the '80s. So I don't give a shit what Bob Dylan was singing about in the '60s. The lead singer of Rat is not Bob Dylan. Okay, he's not Buffalo Springfield. He never tried to be. He never claimed to be any of those things.
He was straight. You know what it is? I know exactly what it is. I'm scrolling the article right now. At the top it says 2-minute read, and then it goes sentence add sentence add. So they just needed, literally, that is a filler paragraph, so they can put it between. They just needed another paragraph for that. What should we write about? Oh, fucking no. Well, politics in the '60s. Go for it. It's a nothing article, and so they needed a nothing paragraph, so they could just stack another ad right there, so it can go paragraph ad paragraph ad. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. I kind of agree with the guy from Rat in a sense. I mean, I think it's kind of dumb that he's talking about Green Day, like, because that has nothing to do with him. It's
Right.
completely different eras, different genres, whatever. But like, Rat should not go political now. If for whatever reason you want to see Rat in 2025, for one thing, are you a fucking time traveling like white trash crazy part? Like what the
No,
fuck? You wasted a time travel to come
I
here, and instead of cheating on sports betting like Biff and Back to the Future 2, you're like, I'm gonna see what Rat's up to in the mid 2020s. I wonder if they're still alive and touring. Dear God, they are. Oh my God. And if you then go to that show and the dude from Rat is like, listen, we were gonna before we sing a stripped down acoustic version of Round and Round, let's talk about tariffs and the right to choose. Like, wait, what? What? No, you're
I
Rat.
fuck you. I'm going completely the other direction of 180. That's absolutely what I want to see. I do want to see Rat busted out Way Cool Jr. after they talk about tariffs because the juxtaposition would be the funniest thing I had ever seen in my life. Hey, everybody, we had one hit song in 1984, but we're here to.
Oh yeah, dude. I hope they still have the hair metal delivery. Just like if we tax goods
Dude,
coming into the U.S., we can get rid of the income tax. Like I hope they do like they're shrieking and everything.
I saw Motley Crue in 2010 because tickets were $20, and I'm like, I'm gonna go see Motley Crue. It was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. I've ever laughed the entire time because they were all in their 50s and just they it felt like the 1980s because they were just like, what the fuck is up, everyone? How the fuck are you? Are you ready to like they hadn't grown or changed or anything. It was
That's
kind of
awesome.
sad, but it was also hilarious and awesome. They knew their wheelhouse. They knew exactly who they were, and they played to the people that came to. And it was great people watching. It was funny, and the
Here's the
only
thing,
thing
man.
that would make it better is if they had talked politics.
If they talk about and here's if you're a hair metal band, um, for one thing, I don't really care what you have to say about politics. It's not what any of your music was about, so who gives a shit? But I feel like if you are going to talk politics, it would have to be like for me to enjoy it in any way. It's like you're a grown man in full on, fishnets. You're half in drag. You're yelling about the devil. I kind of don't even want to say. I don't know why I even want you saying things I agree with politically. If after shouting at the devil, you're sitting there talking about, why healthcare in America should be free, I'm boring. No, I want you. If that's your lane, you got to be so fucking out there. Like I want to hear you yelling about the vaccine turning frogs gay, like wild shit, man. Wild shit. Like it's got to match the outfit.
Disagree. I agree that it has to match the outfit, but I want them to talk about drag queen story hour because 80s hair metal bands were the original drag queens. They were out there every night looking like women, but not transsexual. So I think if they were to talk about drag queen story hour, that would be perfect because that's what they look like. They all look like drag queen story hour. Only now, because it's
That's
2025, they
right.
look like the grandmas and grandpas of drag queen story hour.
And it would be awesome if they were either pro drag queen story hour or against it. You know what I mean? Like if they just and then they tell you what they're if just after the song Round and Round, he then pulls out like I'm Sam I am. And I like green eggs and ham. And he just reads the whole thing and he's like, you see how I did that at a nightclub and not a fucking library, you kids, you goddamn communists, And he just starts going like full Roseanne ambient rant.
That would be
That would be the
fantastic.
shit, man.
All right. Sophie and Ken asks, did Kid Rock get political during his concerts? The answer is yes. And the nutcase Nugent, yes, they both did. Both Ted Nugent and Kid Rock.
They've
Very
kind of been in
political
that
at their
lane for a
shows.
little while, though, man. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
the clips of Nugent would go viral with him like talking about shooting Hillary Clinton
yeah, he
and
was nuts. He was
yeah.
nuts. But here, interesting enough, I don't think Rat had. I would now, admittedly, I embarrassingly don't know that much about what the dude from Rat has been up to since 1984.
Oh,
I was
nothing.
one.
That's the
I
whole
was
thing.
one
Is
when that hit
honestly,
came
I
out.
was stunned to see him in the news. I'm like, holy
Yeah,
shit! Like they had one hit. They had a comeback hit of Way Cool Jr., but it was not big at all. One song, 1984, and then they, every Poison had multiple hits. Van Halen wasn't hair metal, but either way, Motley Crue, Whitesnake. No, Rat was literally like Cinderella with one song done.
well, Cinderella had more than one, but
Oh,
either way,
don't
uh,
know what you got.
Let's go, Gypsy Road. Come on, man. There was
I don't remember
they
Gypsy
had to do.
Road.
Oh, it's great. It's their best one. But no, they either way. I would be willing to go back to bet if we went back on the dude from Rat's tweets. He probably didn't have any problem whatsoever with Kid Rock or Ted Nugent talking politics. It's like, dude, you don't care that they're talking politics and music. You just don't like what they said. Now, if he was tweeting, Ted Nugent needs to shut his mouth and just sing "Cat Scratch Fever." If he tweeted that too, fine. I still disagree with his take,
Level.
but I at least respect it. It's not that I don't like what this guy said politically, therefore I'm going to say no one should talk politics and music. No, because there's people that do it on the right that I'd be willing to bet he doesn't criticize at all.
Yeah. All right, next story, Jake.
I bet he was holding the camera while Kid Rock was shooting them fucking Bud Lights. I'll bet he was cheering them on. I'll bet he was singing round and round as soon as that camera went on.
Do not know his politics.
I got a good goddamn idea. Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't know them with empirical proof, but I would be willing to bet everything I own that I could figure out which side of the fence he lines up on.
Everyone listening, everyone watching needs to buckle up, prepare for a worst case scenario. I'm not talking about the stock market. I'm not talking about egg prices. I'm not talking about tariffs. I'm talking about something much, much worse. Angel Reese warns WNBA about potential player strike ahead of CBA negotiations. Negotiations. Yes, the WNBA, the league that is only watched for Caitlin Clark, is being threatened by the most outspoken, least interesting player in the league. Is anybody out there? Jake.
I don't know who's interesting and who's not. I barely follow men's sports, man. So you know what I mean?
Oh,
like I don't really know what they're up to.
Okay, everybody listening, everybody watching, Jake, especially you, get on TikTok, Google Angel Reese Bang. There is a TikTok account. Bang. There is a TikTok account dedicated to her. And all they do is show her throwing bricks and yelling, "Bang!" And it is the most stupid, entertaining, hilarious, because she gives these interviews where she talks about how great she is. She's the Muhammad Ali of the WNBA. Like, I'm the greatest. People watch the league for me, and she is just not a great player. And so this TikTok account is literally dictated like, oh, here she goes. She's going in and she's rebounded her own missed shot. Bang! And she misses again. It is the best TikTok account out there. And they just tell people to comment bang in the comments. And then the next video, they're like, we got 8,000 bangs.
Well, hang on. I at least know her name. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. She's at least got to be doing something, right? I mean, for me to know her, fucking.
She's not sitting in a basement yelling at a guy in New York.
That's true. That's true. But I see. Here's the thing. I was kind of like on their side with this whole thing because when people would before now with the WNBA, when people would complain and say, "Oh, women athletes aren't paid enough," well, the response to that would be, go buy a ticket to see the games. If you're not doing that, then shut up, because that's why the men's leagues get paid more, is because people might buy more tickets. They tune in more. They get more eyeballs on the screen. Therefore, the league can charge more for advertising. But here's the thing. Way more people are watching the WNBA now. So
way more
salaries
people are watching Caitlin Clark. They did a breakdown. The Chicago team. I don't know if that's Angels. I don't know. The WNBA team in Chicago plays in a small field house, and they averaged whatever 1,000 tickets. When Caitlin Clark plays, they have to move to the United Center because they sell out. They show the bump between the average game and the Caitlin Clark game. They're watching Caitlin Clark. In fact, when the Indiana Fever, when her team got eliminated from the playoffs, the ratings fucking plummeted. Even though
it's so weird, man. If you've been watching the whole season, how are you not interested anymore? Like, and I get only being a fan of one team. Like, if the Lions aren't playing, I kind of don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But like, I'm still watching some of it.
All day, the NFL is on. If I'm not paying attention, it's a white noise. I have it on. That's the difference. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but either way, it does say in the article that basically due to the higher ratings, the WNBA was able to charge more in advertisements. Now, I don't know if you looked up what they get paid, their salary
paid
caps are like
well.
70 grand. It's fucking like wild how low they're paid. And if no one's watching, yeah, it sucks, but fair enough, that's the reason. If more people are watching, you gotta up those paychecks, man. If the league
True.
is bringing in more money for advertisement, you should have to up the salaries a bit.
I don't disagree. One part I left out is she said they should be paid like NBA players, and that's the bridge too far. Yeah, you get a raise,
Well,
but you
I
don't
mean,
get
look,
like
I mean, and yeah, a pipe dream because there's not as many people watching even now. But that's how you negotiate. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm not faulting her for negotiating on this. For negotiating her on this, when you're negotiating, you don't just go, "Hey, we're basically getting paid the same as Nathan Timmel got paid when he was a substitute teacher in Iowa, like 20 years ago."
I
Even
wish
though
I
we're
made
we're
that. I'd
we're
be happy to make
professional
that.
athletes now. Yeah, yeah, no, but either way, they're making closer to what you were making as a substitute teacher than the least paid dude in the NBA right now, right? So yeah, you come in, you don't come in going, if you made it an even 90, we'd be stoked. You know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't do that because it'll be like, oh, just check, we can only do 81. You come in going, I want to get paid the same amount as LeBron, and then you settle at 120 grand. It just
All right,
just
fair.
negotiate. Hey man, all the arguments against women athletes getting paid as much as the men, I mean, are solid
Well,
arguments of hey,
not
they
all,
don't they
not
don't get the
all,
ticket sales, they don't get the eyeballs on the screen, but WNBA is starting to get those. So I mean, yeah, they should have to negotiate.
not all. Women's soccer has always been more popular than men's soccer, and men get paid more in soccer. So that's complete bullshit. I want to turn to the chat. Julie
Wait, women's
Cool,
soccer like globally?
women's USA women's soccer always
Okay,
popular than
USA. Now that's a big
yeah,
because you're getting people from other countries watching the game now too. So that's
yeah,
with World Cup, it's different than you can't just look at one country's viewership on that. It's a global market. So
yeah. All right, turning to the chat. Bad news for Julie Cool. I just Googled while Jake was talking. All I can find is TikTok. It even auto-filled for me Angel Reese Bang Instagram. So I clicked that, and everything is TikTok. So I don't think they have a YouTube channel. I don't know.
I
Sorry,
honestly,
Julie.
dude, I don't understand this hating on this lady for missing shots. It's like, yeah, basketball
Well,
players are
they
gonna
hate
miss
on her.
shots.
Wait. They hate on her because look at Big Papa 72. Angel has the worst footwork in the league. When a WNBA legend goes on your podcast and won't help you with layups, you know you're bad. It's not that they're hating on her. She fronts that she's the best and she's not good. So I think
Okay,
people hate on her
okay,
because every time she gets out in an interview, she's like,
fair
"I'm the
enough.
best.
Yeah, if
Everybody
she's
loves
cocky
me."
and annoying, yeah, I
Yeah.
get that then. Yeah, I thought it was
Uh,
just some incel that doesn't like female athletes.
Yep,
That's what.
Caitlin Clark is there. I looked up, don't recognize the name with her. I saw her face. Yeah. Um, Either way, we got
Oh
six
shit.
minutes left on the other one, so let's quick do another story. I thought, oh, I got three up here that are good. I just want to do this one because I find it amusing. Here's the headline: clickbait headline, business section of Rolling Stone. Elon Musk melts down as Tesla stock price plunges. And where is it? Oh, they changed it. They changed it, Jake. When I sent you this, it had written right underneath that this was an opinion piece. And so they wrote this long article about Elon Musk going on Twitter and complaining and throwing a fit, but it was admitted that it was just a hit piece, and they've removed that word since. Because when was it published? March 10th, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it used to be
Interesting.
fully labeled an opinion piece, and it no longer is. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can trash people in the media these days. You know what I
You
mean? Like,
can,
what do
but
you?
I just love that it fronted when I originally saw it. It fronted as a business piece, but had opinion written really small. Now it just says business. So yeah, you can trash him, but it's basically about him tweeting. It's oh Tesla price drops and he's tweeting. That's not an article. They don't like Elon, so they want to write an article about how he's throwing a fit. This is
It's
I'm
weird because there's plenty of bad things you could say about Elon right now without exaggerating or taking things out of context.
right.
Hey,
We're
here
just
he is on ketamine,
focusing on
dressed like a dick at CPAC, waving a chainsaw around. Let's write an article about that.
right. But so it's literally an article about his tweets, and of course the label is as a meltdown. Like oh he's that's all right. So let's just do skip another one because well that's just the media. Is I thought it was appropriately labeled, but for some reason they changed it. They changed it to a business piece, even though as I read it, it's nothing but this guy Elon Musk is unhappy. Well, that's not news. No one being unhappy is news.
Write about the Z, Kyle. There's other shit he's done. You know what I mean? Write about the Tesla contracts that he had with the government that were like, I don't know, $10 million or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they got in and checked for efficiency, somehow it turned into a $300 million contract. Write
That's
about
what
that.
Big
Write about
Papa's
that.
writing. He feels
Yeah.
better about the Trump since they had on the White House lawn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about his stock prices and his sales, but he's getting government contracts. The guy who's
Right.
so worried about waste is getting lots of government contracts.
That's right. That's right. All you right wingers that ain't saying shit about this, you know, if the Democrats did this with George Soros, if George Soros was just going around every single agency in government, every branch going, let me cut this, let me kind of rewrite where the money's going, you know, you'd have a problem with it. So stop.
Oh yeah. All right. YouTube, we are going to stay with you. I need to be clear about that because I've been told that people get confused. We are recording right now for Spotify. We're going to stay with the live cast, but we're going to sign off the Spotify version. So I have been Nathan Timmel. You can find me at nathantimmel.com. I have a t-shirt store, 1 hour special on YouTube, all sorts of stuff, books on Amazon. Jake can be found with the @JakeVevra symbol on all social media. He has a 1 hour special on YouTube as well, unalived by Dog Pills. I just
give it a
got
like,
text.
give it a comment.
AJ Dillon from the Packers is going to Philadelphia. I don't know why. They don't need him with Saquon Barkley, but that just came through as I was speaking. So, all right. Yeah, we're going to stick to YouTube. Goodbye, Spotify.
The band Rat just released a new hit song about banging a lady in the back of a Tesla.
All right. So, do you want to let's get caught up on the chat? But then I had a couple more stories we could touch. So that was the Tesla one. There's Julie, a certain size and level of public trust that you should really consider. Yeah, we let it happen. We did let it happen.
Certain size level.
Doge should start with private contracts. Exactly.
Right.
Private job. Paul's finally got here. Sorry about this. Both have specials, but that should be watched. Oh, thanks. Made me laugh.
Oh, thank you, man.
Paul.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
All right. Let's jump to another story. These two kind of relate. I've got two stories left. Trans inmate in prison for killing baby must get gender surgery at earliest opportunity. We talked about this once before because I remember this face with the face tattoo. So last week we talked about the death penalty and you were against it and I'm for it. I mean, come on. A death penalty has got to be better for someone that killed a baby than gender reassignment surgery, Jake. You got to be with me on this.
I mean, listen, again, if it turns out he didn't kill the baby, you know what I mean? Not just because he's got different pronouns now. You know what I mean?
Remember if it's a man or a woman now.
I don't know if he or she really killed the baby. I'm assuming they did. However, I'm not the investigator on the case.
Tattoos, it's ugly.
I'm not in the jury.
Woman.
Look, and it's again, not to rehash what we were talking about last week, but who decides that a person is guilty? It is a jury. Juries get shit wrong, you know. New evidence comes out, you know, years after the fact. If they're in prison, you can let them go.
The guy at the shooting, the bang bang we talked about, he said, "Yeah, I'm guilty." If they say they're guilty, why do we have a problem killing them? Get rid of them.
Again, so now they can only get the death penalty if they confess. That's the new rule. People aren't going to confess anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird, like when you sit there and go, yeah, the really obvious ones.
I'm turning these off.
Sure. I mean, like in a perfect world, I would agree with let's do just the obvious ones that are clearly guilty. However, the system we have in which we decide who is clearly guilty and who is not is a flawed system, and they get it wrong sometimes. I'm not saying that
and
you're
people
going
get in
to
car accidents. We don't ban cars.
Yeah, right. But if I'm not saying you're not going to kill mostly guilty people, What I'm saying is you can kill some innocent people and it's still really fucked up. Whereas the alternative would be they'd all just be in prison and the innocent ones you could let out later.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a strong argument against that. I just think it's. But why are we forcing? Because I forget the reason. Because we talked about this case once before. It's part of a cruel and unusual punishment, and they want to say that. So it's a miss. So it was a dude that's now a miss. Seeks to extend the injunction for a second time. Is that it's like that because they're fucked in the head and need the gender reassignment surgery to feel better, that a judge is saying it's medically necessary and cruel and unusual. I mean, you're in prison for killing a baby. Maybe you should be punished.
I'm not really concerned about the like, and I'm very very I'm pro trans rights. For people that haven't killed babies, I'll say that.
And by the way, sorry to interrupt. This is
Yeah.
Indiana. This is not like liberal California. This is deep dark red Indiana.
Dude, who would trust a prison surgeon in Indiana with gender reassignment surgery? They're going to be using duct tape and chewing gum. It's going to come out fucked up. Like it's not.
You're
gonna
not
be good.
getting Johns Hopkins there. No.
Right, your last meal is not going to come from Gordon Ramsay, and your sex change operation. It's not going to come from a dude that works at NYU Langone. Like it's not. But either way, and that is the one part where I'm like, all right, it gets dicey once you start doing, well, we're going to let people transition in prison, and then biologically, male people become female, and then they go to a women's prison. It's like they've done that before, and then they've knocked up female prisoners. Like it's happened in the past.
The dick. It's like if you want to go to the female prison, you got to go all in. We're cutting that off first.
Right, because here's the thing. If right now you said, "Oh, this is a terrible setup. Hang on. If right now you said to me, Jake, you are, I'm a moron that fucked up my phone. So if you said you are now in prison for the rest of your life, whatever you're in here for, you did it. Like there's no DNA evidence that's going to say you blacked out on tequila and fucking ate a bunch of people. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I will transition tomorrow just to get into a women's prison. Yeah. I'm Jane now. You know what I mean? It's not the people that actually are transgender that I'm worried about this happening. Like, it's how can this rule get abused? Now, what I think there should be is some version of like, because on the flip side, many trans prisoners, like biological males who identify as women, would get abused in a men's prison. So there's that too. Now, I'm not so much worried about a guy who killed a baby, but that's not the vast majority of trans people in prison. There's a lot of drug charges, theft charges, whatever. Yep. I don't think they should necessarily be abused. I think maybe a separate facility that you can opt to go to if you're transgender, where you just around trans people or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that could be a sort of way to do that. Like it would have to be kind of a specialized thing.
Yeah, I mean, literally, how hard would it be to have one prison in the country where if you're trans, you just get sent there, like literally.
Yeah.
What's up,
man?
I got a hi from Neil the atheist. Hello, Neil.
Hey, Neil. No, I can't scroll.
Hey, what's Kelly, up? Prison is punishment? No, we should MNOT pay. Oh, not okay. That was the M in there, whatever. For surgery, hormones okay. You can do it upon your release. Right. Well, I don't think a baby killer is getting out, but if you kill a baby, I care a great deal. Jake, there it is. What's up with your right eye? He addressed this up front.
It's my left eye, but I got a sty. I was getting a lap dance on my face at the dirtiest strip club in all of Queens last night. And
he wasn't rescuing a woman from being mugged and got popped in the eye. No, it's just the.
No, it's way less valiant than that. No, I have no idea what happened. I just kind of woke up with it. It started getting bad yesterday, and then it's been like that ever since.
So. All right, let's do one final story, and it's along the same line. So we're making fun, or I am. I don't know if you're about trans issues in prisons, but I mean, Jesus Christ, this is where it becomes silly. Texas bill would make identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. Jesus fucking Christ, Texas. I mean, this is where, first of all, how does this help the economy? How does this help anybody? How is this anything but some asshole trying to say trans people don't exist? And yes, we just made fun of the idea of transitioning in jail. And yes, this is a comedy podcast. But for the love of fuck, the idea that you want to make a bill filed by, guess who, Republican, guy named Talbot, knowingly makes a false or by identifying their sex assigned at birth incorrectly to a governmental entity or to their employer. Go fuck yourself. Why are they so afraid of transgender? I don't get it.
That's just it, man. And the two places that I really will give the right credit with the anti-trans stuff is I don't think that if you've gone through male puberty, it's fair to be competing against female athletes
Absolutely.
at a collegiate level or
I had that
pro
story.
level. But
Even Governor Newsom finally fucking said
right.
that. The Democrats are realizing it's a losing issue.
And the thing where it's like I'm just gonna turn a trans lady loose in a women's prison. Again, like we went into this earlier. That will be abused, and it has been abused.
Yeah.
But the thing is if I thought that this began or ended with women's prisons and women's sports, yeah, I wouldn't give a shit about the conservatives, making trans laws. It's that it doesn't.
It becomes this.
All the conservatives yelling about there's biological men competing against women. Look at Leah Thomas. She's taking all these medals. It's like, really, who got second place? Can you tell me that? Can you show me one ticket stub to a women's sporting event? No, you don't give a shit about women's sports. This isn't about women's sports. It's they want to go all the way and do what the hell this crazy guy's trying to get done in Texas.
It is. All right. We recorded live tonight because I have scheduling conflicts, but not this coming Sunday, but the one after, I will be back. Hopefully Jake will be ready, and we will go back to our regularly scheduled Sunday recordings like we used to before we had scheduling conflict after scheduling conflict. Our Sunday's going to be good for you still?
Possibly. My wife did just start a new job now that I'm on paternal leave from Sirius, so I got to check with that. But I think still we might have to play with the times a bit. But sometime on the weekend
we will find a consistent time. Yeah. It's just that the past few weeks have been we're all over the place. Everybody that jumped on for Wednesday night, thank you. We did learn our lesson. We will not do a work day, middle of the day broadcast again.
There's way more people this time. We like that.
But thank you for jumping in. And we're gonna sign off now. Neil the atheist, happy wife, happy life. He is right. So Jake's trying to make us. Well, it's actually with Jake's case, it's no one else is gonna take care of the kids. But
did we get Big Papa 72's comment? Prison tattoos exist, so should prison sex cages let them do it to each other? I got
Thank you, Big Papa.
Yeah. Prison pussy should have been the new name of this podcast. You know what I mean? This is
Bye, Rich. Jake's knocking his phone over again.